Towards the Mindset Geek from go2l.com, and welcome back. Now in today's episode, we're going to talk about hustling. If you're a Gary Vaynerchuk fan, you'll be well aware of this word hustle. And there was a conversation that I saw over on LinkedIn last week, I think it was, about hustling. And it's very popular. Gary has made this idea of really get going for things, 100 miles an hour, never giving up, as a really popular thing. And actually, he's right in some ways. You know, we need to be fully committed to stuff, but it's completely exhausting. And I, for one, have decided it's time to change the story around the word hustle. Incidentally, there was a comment in this post that I was reading that he's using the word hustle wrong. Hustle apparently means to push. So, we're not going to push people around, but that's as an aside. But today, I wanted to encourage you to think about the stories that you are telling yourself, because I've said before, this game is won or lost in our heads, and the language that we use around these games, actually that's interesting. We'll get back to that word game in a minute, but the words that we use are important because how you view life and how you describe life and the language you use to describe life will have an impact on how it looks. So like that word game that I just used, if you decide that today is a game, life is a game, what does that feel like? What sort of energy do you bring to that day when you decide that life is a game? This day is a gift. If this day is a gift, what are we going to do with this day? Contrast that with the idea of life is a hustle, life is a grind, life is hard work, life is a battle. Now, for some people, those words are empowering. Some people love the idea of looking at life as a battle because they fire themselves up and they get themselves ready to do battle. I understand. There are times when you do need to just, brace yourself and get ready. However, if you spend all of your time braced, now I'm actually standing here, there's two versions of this episode. There's the podcast version and the video version. If you're listening to the podcast version, you can't see my body language right now. But on the video, right, you will see me, right? If you're all the time standing there, ready in defensive mode, ready to do battle, it's exhausting. I can actually feel the tension in my muscles down my arms. Now I do a little bit of, it's called box fit. It's not like proper boxing. I don't go around in a ring, but we do some box fit. So I've actually become quite aware of how your body moves when you're in that sort of combat stance. But if you live your life in combat stance, what is that going to do to you? I don't just mean physically, I mean mentally as well. If you're mentally spending every single day in combat stance, your poor brain, it's exhausting. At some point, you just have to go, Personally, I believe it's a lot kinder and more gentle and actually a much better long-term strategy to underschedule, to change the words that you use around this thing we call life. Embrace life as a game. Embrace life as an adventure. Embrace it as a plaything. Experiment. Try things out. If you've watched or listened to previous episodes, you will have heard me talk before about this idea, just give it a go. If you ease the pressure on yourself a little bit, instead of telling yourself, right, this is it, I've really got to go for it this time, and an all or nothing attitude, that all or nothing attitude will not serve you. And like this, I'm saying this as somebody who used to have, and still to a certain extent is guilty of sometimes having an all or nothing attitude. It's really can be quite dangerous, and it can be quite limiting, because the problem with an all or nothing attitude is what happens. You're all in, it's all going amazing, and then you slip up slightly, because that's what happens. Real life happens. If you're approaching life with this all or nothing attitude and then something happens, that's it. You throw in the towel. You might not throw in the towel forever. You might only throw in the towel for the day or a couple of days or maybe a week. But the longer you stop and just go, the harder it is to get moving again. So instead, I would encourage you, think of this as an experiment. Just try something new. When I introduce you to some of these different mindset pieces and ideas, not everything works for everyone. I put these ideas out there. Try this, try that, give this a go, give that a go, and give it a decent go. I'm not suggesting that you should try it one time and if you decide it doesn't work, that's it. No, sometimes it takes practice. The silver lining spotting is a classic example of that. I am now a natural silver lining spotter. I can't help myself. Something happens, I go, but at least. Those are my words, but at least. Those 3 magic words I've told you about before if you're a long time listener. But at least. But it takes practice. And if you've never been a silver lining spotter before, I absolutely believe you can be. You have to embrace those 3 words, but at least, and then try it, practice. But it won't be easy to start with. And just because you try it and you try it a bit more, and it will get easier with practice. However, not everything that I advocate will be the best fit for every single person watching or listening. I'm not that naive. It's not like one size fits all. So I put ideas out there, encouraging you to give them a go. Try things a little bit and see what fits. And life is like that too. As you approach these things in your business, rather than going there and hustling and doing all the things and pushing and relax a little bit, have fun with it. Because ultimately, personally, I believe that it's meant to be fun. I know that we work hard in our businesses and I know that the buck stops with you. However, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy the process. If you're not enjoying the process, if you can't find some way to have it suit your lifestyle and to have it be this enriching experience, why bother? Quite frankly, if your business, if you've set it up and you've got to the point where it just feels like day after day and grind and toil and something needs to change. And if you're having one of those days, I'm not suggesting that you please don't make some quick, sharp decision based on one episode of this from listening to me. I'm not going to say, okay, if you're looking for a sign, this is it. I know I say that sometimes. But in this stuff, no, I'm not suggesting that you hear one episode and then you go, okay, that's it, I'm throwing in the towel, I've had enough, I'm not doing it anymore. No. However, if day after day, if this is a continuous thing that doesn't seem to be changing, I would encourage you to look at the stories that you've got going on there. I'd encourage you to look at the language that you're using to describe those stories. And ultimately, only you know where you're coming from. But if it's something niggling at you and you're going, yeah, it's not quite right, have a look at it. How can you change things to make it better for you? Because it is meant to be fun, okay? That's my message for you today. It's meant to be fun. And yes, some people, they get empowered and inspired by this word hustle, and it's fun for them. That's fine. If hustling and this idea of, it's a battle, if that's serving you, great. However, you're probably watching this because it's not the thing that lights you up. It's not the thing that inspires you and empowers you. And so if that's the case, I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. Business can be fun. It can be an enriching experience, and you can under schedule. You can look at this as a plaything and go at it lightly and gently and still get stuff done. I'm all about getting stuff done. My mother-in-law said to me a few days ago, I don't know where you get your energy from. And okay, I am a bit loopy some of the time. Maybe it's just too much coffee, who knows? But it is about working with your energy levels. Believe it or not, I have days where I'm just like, I love the weekends. As much as I love the work that I do try very hard on the weekends. Try very hard on the weekends to relax, I was about to say. That feels like a complete contradiction. But I do like downtime. You cannot go at this high energy all the time. And so that's my message for you today. Look at the words that you're using, look at the stories there, and maybe try something new. Okay? Excellent. And as ever, if you'd like to have some help with this stuff, if you'd like to have a conversation more about that, come on over to the League of Brilliance, theleagueofbrilliance.com. I can't wait to show you around if you're not already a member. I know people watching this might already be with us. Brilliant. Let's talk about it and see how this serves you and how we can make this the best fit for you possible. In the meantime, smile, have yourself a delightful day. I've been Elle from GoToElle.com and I look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.